Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is a blackout, as in an electrical blackout, and in Caliphate forming, as in the third beast. And we're going to talk about that, very important. Also, I'm going to be speaking this weekend at Hear the Watchman Prophecy Conference, April 5 to 8. And yes, you are invited. Love to have you there. Love to see you there. And be willing to sign your book, shake your hand, pray for you, whatever. Hear the Watchman Conference. And these are when I'm going to be speaking, a little bit of the details. And yes, they still have plenty of rooms, so you can reserve and you can get here. The only thing is, because it is in the shadow of the eclipse, hotel rooms might be scarce. So be sure and make sure that you can get a hotel room, a place to stay. Also, I'm reminded to announce to you, because I'm going here, there's not going to be a Bible study this Friday evening. By the way, I'm also very complimented to see that we're getting about 3,000 views. Now, that's on all of the platforms. I mean, you got to go to all of them. But about 3,000 views per week for the Bible study. So apparently it's really helping a lot of people. Also, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and also join Prophecy Club, hence Club. And you do that by clicking the little QR code down at the bottom. And we ask for $9.90 a month or more to join Prophecy Club. Also, if you have an IRA or a 401k, or you're thinking about getting some kind of precious metal, gold, silver, rhodium, whatever it is, 800-200-GOLD, and they can help you. 800-200-GOLD. And there is a food shortage coming. We got like 14 people say a food shortage is coming, and in my opinion, the cheapest and the best way to provide for your family for long-term storage food is josephskitchen.com. Go there and check it out. All right, so the first two things that I want to say is, had a couple of revelations here. Let's talk about the Palestinian state. Of course, October the 7th, Israel was attacked. And in my opinion, or maybe I shouldn't tell you my opinion, Israel was attacked. All right, I'll tell you part of the opinion. I think that Israel should say, look, world or Gaza or whoever it is, if you want me to stop killing the people in the Gaza area, first, they need to release all of our hostages. We want to see they're all alive. We want to see that they haven't been raped and beat up. We want all of our hostages released, or we're going to continue our military operation until every one of them are kicked off our land. Now, I doubt Israel is going to call and ask my opinion, but I think, Genesis 12:3, I will bless them that bless you, and I'll curse them that curse you. So I stand with Israel, period. So in the Palestinian state, let me point out a couple of things. So if America forces Israel to split and give the Palestinians a state, that may also give the Jews access to the Temple Mount. That may also ease the animal sacrifice, the starting of it, because we know that Daniel 9:27 says, in the midst of the week, he should cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease, meaning in the middle of the 7-year period, as in the tribulation, as in the last 7 years before Jesus returns and sets up eternity. In the middle of that, meaning about 3.5 years before Jesus returns, at the very end, he returns 2 more times. We talked about that. In the middle of that time, the Antichrist goes in and sits on the Ark of the Covenant. 1 Thessalonians 2:4, I think it is, and he sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Where do you sit in the temple? That would be the Holy of Holies. And what's in the Holy of Holies? Well, nothing right now. But by then, it will be the Ark of the Covenant. Yes, the real Ark of the Covenant, the Ron White found back in 1982, the lid of which has about 600 pounds of pure gold. That's the throne of God on earth, and that's what Lucifer wants to do. Go back and read it. That's what he wants to do, is sit on the throne of God, requiring people to worship him. Now, in the process, and this is the new revelation, and I've heard this from anybody, just come to me, okay? But in the forming of this Palestinian state, when Israel gives the Palestinian state, and Joel 3:2 says, parted my land. So yes, there will be a time when they divide Israel. or they will divide Israel. Yeah, I guess I'd say that, right? Divide Israel. But in the process of that, they may also cause the forming of the Palestinian, or of a caliphate. Now, let me go to the scripture to show you what I'm talking about. So you go to Daniel 7:6, and I know some people don't like me to read the Bible, but if you want to understand this, I got to read the Bible. So hopefully you'll stick with me. This is really, really big. See, if you want to know when the New World Order, when the world government is going to be forming, well, it's not going to be forming until the third beast is formed. Right now we have his first beast, we have the second beast. We do not have the third beast. This is going to explain it. And it may be that the third beast is about to be formed. Daniel 7:6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. Okay, who's the leopard? The leopard is Muslims or Islam. How do you know that? Well, do a Google search on leopard. See where they live. Do a Google search on Muslims. See where they live. Print the maps, overlay them. You find out they overlay almost perfectly. Then do a little research. Find out how leopards hunt. How do they live? How do they fight? And you find out this. You find out they live in caves, like the Muslims. That is before oil was found. Caves are tents. You find that they don't fight face to face. One of their mottos is, run to fight another day. Just like a leopard. Leopard doesn't like to fight face to face, wants to wait until the night, until their back is turned, and they fight from the back. Also, their mating habits, I'll go on. The point is, the leopard is Muslims, which had on the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. Okay, the 4 wings represent land masses. And the beast also had 4 heads, meaning each one of the 4 land masses has a ruler. Well, we have not seen a time where 4 Muslim nations, 4 different land masses of Muslims have come together, each one having a head, and they form a caliphate or a union. But that may very well come out of the Palestinian state, which, if there's the year, and if Omar ushers in Palestinian state, is the forming of that Palestinian state, we may very well see that before June the 13th of 2024. Now, if this is not the year, it may be another year. I'm not saying it's this year, but I'm watching. Now, let's go on. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast. There's your world government, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. Now, what's the Iron Kingdom? Roman or Babylonian, same thing. And that is essentially what we call today the European Union. So we do know that part of where this leopard is going to come out of is going to be associated with the European area. And it devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Well, that's the 10 global regions, or I should say the 7 continents divided into 10 global regions. Now, I considered the horns. See, some people say, oh, no, the Antichrist is not really a man. It's a system. And the mark is that you with your hands, you work. No, it's literally a mark, okay? I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. Now, how many horns were there? There were 10. So what is this saying? That there will be like an 11th horn come up. Watch what happens. And there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, so there's 10. Then there'll be an 11th guy come up. If you can see my hand, I don't know if you can see that. And then he will overcome 3 of them, so that will make 8. Okay, if you got that. So there's 10, then there's the 11th comes up, the 11th overcomes 3, and that means that there will be 8. So one of the ways we can spot the Antichrist early is watching that he will come up and overcome 3 of those other nations. Little horn before him, there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn, this leader, a horn is a leader, there were eyes like the eyes of a man. So that dispels any question. Is this a man? Yes, it is. And a mouth speaking great things. Yeah, but Stan, how do you know this, even talking about the end times? Well, if you go to Revelation 18, it says, and it was given to him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given to him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his neighbor's tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. So this is a parallel verse to Revelation 18 where it says that. And I say that, and actually, I think I was talking about Revelation 13. Okay, let's go on. Now let's go to the next topic here. Okay, blackout. What if there is a blackout? Okay, so we're talking about cyber attacks. We're talking about EMP attacks. And it might be that they just turn off the electricity. Anyway, the article says, blackout shows how fast the U.S. would fall in an EMP attack. Why is that important? Well, because we have 34 prophecies that say that suitcase nukes are going to go off in America. Have 14 that shows there's a food shortage coming, all kinds of problems, but I don't have any of them that have anywhere close to as many prophecies as the suitcase nukes. It is the number one prophecy. I even have more than the fall of America, the Russians attacking. 34 prophecies say suitcase nukes will go off. The recent targeted attack on 2 electric substations in North Carolina should serve as a wake-up call concerning our vulnerability to a national blackout. The attack left thousands without power and closed businesses and schools. A single shooter did this. An attack on our national grid system would do great damage to our Pentagon's retaliatory capabilities. Imagine a city, county, or state without power. Hospitals would have no power. The safety of the water supply would rapidly deteriorate. There would be little or no access to money. ATMs wouldn't function. Banks would close for security reasons. Military experts predict 90% of the Americans would die a year after electromagnetic pulse attack. 90%. With an EMP, almost everything powered by electricity would be wiped out. Now, not physically, but practically. Such things would simply cease to work, such as, imagine the havoc this could cause your cell phone. Useless. The same goes for your TV, radio, and your computer. Your car might still run, but good luck driving on roads with no working stoplights. And I'm going to say, and if you can't pump the gasoline out of the ground into your car, and if you can't pump the oil out of the ground into the refinery, and if the refinery can't pump the oil around in the refinery, you see, our whole world, I looked it up. We started, I think it was Hoover Dam was one of the first ones, like in the early 1800s. Dad, and also Niagara Falls. So they built a couple of dams, and that's that free electricity, basically what it was. Renewable electricity was one of the major things, along with crude oil, that propelled America into being the great nation that it is today. Now, we know that's the hand of God. Anyway, let's go on. No working stoplights, access to your GPS devices for directions, or buying gasoline from pumps that won't pump. We'd be in the dark, literally, plunged into the early 19th century in a matter of seconds. Who among us doesn't depend on electricity? What a chaos, disastrous mess this weapon could leave in its wake. Everyday life would grind to a halt. Almost every feature of modern life on which we've come to rely, from fully stocked grocery stores to fire and ambulance services, would be gone instantly. We can't take comfort in the thought that an EMP attack is something beyond the reach of a rogue nation or a terrorist group. Several potential adversaries have or can acquire the capability to attack the United States with a high-altitude nuclear weapon-generated electromagnetic pulse. The 2004 Commission on Access, the threat to the United States from electromagnetic pulse attack, reported a determined adversary can achieve an EMP attack capability without having a high level of sophistication, which is why I really recommend you go to EMPShield.com, EMPShield.com. And if you use the promo code PROPHECY, it helps your Prophecy Club, but it gets you a $50 discount. Now, I have one of these on my car, my wife's car. They have a different one that fits on your house, and they have videos up there, shows you how to do it. It took me about 10 minutes per car and about 10 minutes to put it on a house. Had to go buy a new breaker to put in it, but it's not that difficult. Videos show you how to do it. EMPShield.com, promo code prophecy. Let's talk about Joseph's Kitchen. I actually cooked this loaf of bread you're seeing here. Takes me about 10 minutes to put the ingredients together, put it into a bread machine, push a button, 2 hours, 20 minutes later, I get a loaf of bread out like that. Now, if you cut that loaf of bread that weighs about 3 pounds, the loaves you get in the store have most of the good stuff removed. The loaves you get in the store are about 1 pound. That's 3 pounds because it's got the good stuff still in it. Cut that into 14 slices, and if I eat a slice in the morning and the afternoon, I'm satisfied. So on that basis, one loaf can sustain, I didn't say it's everything we want, can sustain one person for a week. Based upon that, it'll get you excellent nutrition. It tastes good, long storage life, 10 minutes to combine the ingredients, 2 hours, 20 minutes to make it. Other wheat that you order arrives in paper bags, which means bugs, rice, humidity can get a hold of it and ruin it. But at Joseph's Kitchen, they send it out in 100 mil thick buckets. Gives you long shelf life. It's stackable. It's nitrogen infuses that hopefully gives it much longer shelf life, kills bugs and things like that. Easily resealable, keep in a climate-controlled area. And they have it in stock. This is an actual picture of part of the warehouse. Here's another picture of these. Actually, each one of those boxes holds 2,500 pounds of wheat. And I think they've got 54 of those boxes, a bunch of them. So Joseph's Kitchen can ship it to you right now. You go to most of these places, they say out of stock. So here's what you want to do. Everybody needs to get a machine package. These are the things that you need to grind the wheat berries. Put them into a grinder. 30 seconds later, you have flour. You put that into the bread machine along with 6 other ingredients. Push a button. 2 hours, 20 minutes later, you have a nice hot loaf of whole wheat bread. Then you have to decide how much food you want. You want food 2 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 6 people 1 year. And if you want to make certain you have it when the electricity goes down, you can also get yourself a solar generator, all at josephskitchen.com. josephskitchen.com. Let me talk about our 3 sponsors briefly. First, if you want to get gold or silver, we're going to send you to 800-200-GOLD or prophecyclubgold.com. prophecyclubgold.com.